I'm going to describe how you can quickly reconcile two Excel workbooks using Microsoft Access. Using Access, you can find rows which match in the two Excel workbooks, rows which match on the key columns but have different values for other columns, and rows which are in one Excel workbook but missing in the other Excel workbook. I'll be using a transactions example with a transactions A workbook and a transactions B workbook. The two workbooks will have the same columns, transaction number, date, customer, and product, which form the key, as well as an order of value column. The data in the two Excel workbooks will be similar, but with a few differences. To start Microsoft Access, I right-click and select a new Access DB, and then choose a name for the Access database. Within Microsoft Access, I select New Data Source from File and Excel. I then navigate to the Excel workbook I want to load, and then select Open, then OK. I can now check the data types of the columns being loaded and change them, for example, to integer. I then click Next and No Primary Key, then Next again. I enter the table name for the data being loaded and then click Finish to upload the data and then Close. Here you can see the data has been loaded into a table workbook A. I double click on it to check the data and then close the table. I followed the same procedure to load in the transactions B workbook into workbook B table. Here you can see the data that I've uploaded. To create the query which finds the matches, select Create and then Query Design. Drag both the tables into the Query Design screen. You then select transactions number in workbook A and drag to workbook B to create a join. Do the same for date, customer and product, creating joins. These are the key fields. To select the fields you want to be displayed in the query, drag transaction number and the other fields down into the display area. To check the order value for any differences, right-click and select Build. Click the plus sign on Reconciliation ACCDB to expand the options. Reconciliations is the name of my Microsoft Access database, so you'll have to hit the plus sign against the name of your database. Then expand tables and select Workbook A and field order value. Double click it and then enter minus and then select Workbook B order value and then again double click. Enter the whole expression in brackets and type ABS to find the absolute difference between the two columns. Then click OK. Here I'm renaming the field which I've just built. A colon separates the name from the expression. For the criteria, I select less than or equal to 0. Enter it as follows. Click View to view the results of the query, and here you can see the matches with the order value difference of 0 and all the keys fields match. Close the query and rename the query and click OK. To create the query for differences, make a copy of the query as follows. Select the query, right click and choose Copy, and then right click, Paste. You can name the query for breaks. The only change you have to make to the query is to select the order value difference to be greater than 0. And then select View to see the differences. Here you can see the order value difference is 100. Close the query. So now we have the matches and we have the breaks. To create the query which finds rows which are missing in a workbook, select Create and Query Design. Drag Workbook A and Workbook B tables into the Query Design area. Select transaction number in Workbook A and drag to Workbook B transaction number. Then select the join, then right-click Properties. Here you're going to select all records which are in Workbook A and only the records from Workbook B where the join fields are equal. This is creating an outer join so we can find the missing rows. Do the same thing with the other key fields, date, customer and product. To select the fields you wish to display, drag transaction number, date, customer and product as follows. To find the missing record, right-click and select Build. Then click plus to expand the options. Again, expand the tables. Select the table Workbook B and the field transaction number. Double click. Type is null and surround the field in brackets. This returns if the row is null or not. Click OK. And then View. Here you can see the value with -1. This is a missing row in Workbook B. So in the criteria, enter -1. Then click View and you see only the missing row returned. You cannot display column by unselecting the tick in Show. Now press View. Close the query and name the query, the missing rows in Workbook B. I followed the same procedure but in reverse to find the rows which are missing Workbook A. To export these queries to Excel, select the query, right click, Export, and then Excel. You can navigate to where you'd like the file exported and then click OK and then close. Here you can see the query has been exported to Excel.